so people will know it's them. Luke Spiller even said on Eddie Trunk's show, that's not even my favorite version of the song. But they were asked specifically by, I believe the car company is Dodge, to record the Van Halen version. Now, all I have to say is, that is a management issue, and if that damn car commercial has a clip of the Struts performing the opening riffs to Dancing in the Street, which is not even Dancing in the Street, it's basically Eddie's original composition, and Eddie's not getting any money from that. I would lose my mind over that. That is.
Yeah, but see, that whole thing surprises me because I know Van Halen has switched. I'm using the wrong terminology here, but like a publishing company,
okay, yeah,
or an advertising company.
Okay.
Remember they switched out like a couple of years ago, and
yeah,
and so the job is for them to get the music out there,
yeah,
into movies and commercials and things like that.
Right.
So either Van Halen was asked and said no,
right,
or
it's too expensive,
or the band was asked it was too expensive, and so the car company said, you know what, we're going to ask these guys to do it, get a fraction of the cost.
Right.
No one's going to know the difference or care.
They're a hungry
and we'll get
rock
what we
band.
want.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Done. Exactly.
Yeah.
The band gets a boost.
That's
the
happened
company
before.
gets the
It's
song.
not the first time that's happened before.
Absolutely, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
okay, so speaking of paying tribute to Van Halen, okay, there is a new album coming out by the indie pop duo The Bird and the Bee, consisting of vocalist Inaria George and multi-instrumentalist Greg Kurstin, and who has worked with Adele and Sia and Beck and Pink. And they are putting out a tribute album to Van Halen called Interpreting the Masters Volume 2, a tribute to Van Halen, where they cover songs like Hot for Teacher, Ain't Talking About Love, Panama. Coming out August 2nd, and they're doing an entire tour to support it. And the first volume featured the music of Hall & Oates. What do you make of this, Dave?
You know, I heard some clips from it, and I was like, meh. It really didn't do much for me.
Didn't do much for you? Okay.
Well, I don't have an appreciation for their style of music.
Okay. All right.
It just doesn't do anything for me. I'm not saying they're horrible or they're crap. It just it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, hats off to them for doing a Van Halen tribute album.
Right.
I think that's great.
Right.
In a different style than the original band. I think that's a brave move, and I give them full kudos for that.
Right.
But it just wasn't my style of music.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, we spoke about David Lee Roth earlier. Now, Dave was doing an interesting move here. He was doing some UFC pre-fight coverage outside a UFC fight, and he said, send us your predictions to win a trip to the UFC 2041 for autographs and prizes. I don't know if this is based on his tattoo company promotion or what he's doing, but he was promoting it on Instagram, and I don't know. Maybe that's part of Dave's CEO plan to try to crack into that market. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just advertising on his part, trying to get the name out there.
Yeah.
Thinking outside the box.
Outside the box is what he's thinking. I think you're right. So now, unfortunately, a little bit of sad news. Not too sad, but a little sad. Our buddy Wild Mick Brown, who was on our podcast about a year ago, a little over a year ago, Wild Mick Brown, the drummer for Dokken, has retired. So he says he's done. He can't take touring anymore. He said he's been playing drums since age 10. He's now 62, and he is tired. So we want to give our best to Mick. He was great on our podcast about it. Mick was so much fun. Nice, great guy, great drummer. But he is retiring he played with Dokken for many, many years. He also recently played on the End Machine album with George Lynch and Jeff Pilson, also from Dokken. But Mick has thrown in the towel, Dave. What do you think?
Well, it's got to be tough being a drummer, man.
Oh,
I mean, depending on your drumming style, keeping that up. I mean, I have trouble just getting out of bed out of the morning, and I'm only 49. So playing drums when you're in your early 60s, I mean, God bless them for making it this far.
Yeah, it's true. Plus, you're exhausted from cranking it.
That takes a lot more energy these days.
That's true. Incredible. Well, speaking of all kinds of liquids, Liquid Charlie. You see, you like that transition there?
No, not at all.
Well, Liquid Charlie has done a series of new mashups. He's got one where he's playing little guitars and Into Unchained. He's got another one where he replays a snippet from every song in Van Halen 1 in 1 minute and 43 seconds, which I thought was a genius move. He also did that for Van Halen 2. He did a Van Hagar era medley, and he plays a mashup of, this was incredible. I thought you would really like this one, Dave. The Full Bug into One Way to Rock. He's a wild man, this guy. What do you make of these mashups?
I did hear them, by the way.
Yeah.
And the guy can definitely play. I mean, he's been like on a Van Halen kick.
Yeah.
So I do like the way he puts them in a medley together. Guy's got mad chops. The videos were pretty cool, too, because he had some like double imagery going on there.
Yeah, he was like playing with himself.
Right, which is your favorite hobby.
You got me back.
So right. So you and him have a lot in common.
Exactly.
That was way too easy, by the way. You walked right into that.
I walked right
so
head first.
Thank you for serving that up for me. I appreciate that.
It's always my pleasure.
But yeah, no, they were cool. He did a really good job, and he's a big fan, so I always enjoy it when he puts those out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Liquid Charlie, check him out on YouTube. I think he's also on the Van Halen News Desk. You can probably check out all his clips as well. Well, that wraps up Van Halen News.
And that's the way it is. Good night.
And we have a massive mailbag. Wow, we got 15 letters this time out, Dave. Wow, we got to plow through these. We have a huge mailbag to get through, and we also have a huge interview this month. Wow, this was a whopper. Okay, so we interviewed ex-guitarist from David Lee Roth's band, Bart Walsh. That's right, Mr. Bart Walsh himself. And what a character this guy is. He is funny, beautiful, spirited man, incredible guitarist. He's as funny as he is a good guitarist, and he's a nice guy. He was in Dave's band in the late 90s, and he played with Dave, I think, probably up to the early 2000s. And he toured the world with Dave and has all kinds of fun stories. And he's just such an interesting dude. And he talked to us all about it for a nice, lengthy interview. And we get all into that with him. And that is all coming up next. Take a listen.
On June 27th, Van Halen will be taking a break from touring after 50 shows, supporting their new album, A Different Kind of Truth. They insist it has nothing to do with any tensions between themselves and off-again, on-again frontman David Lee Roth.
He's great. He's hilarious. I mean, you just watch him on stage. He makes us crack up all the time.
If you need a dose of VH, get a taste of the closest thing. Romeo Delight, the ultimate Van Halen tribute band, playing all the hits from the David Lee Roth era, first classic 6 albums, plus deep cuts, some of which have never been played live before by the band. They even throw in popular tracks from the Sammy Hagar era and solo hits. The most viewed Van Halen tribute band on YouTube, Romeo Delight, doing customized recreations of staging instruments and costumes from the classic Van Halen era. They even perform entire Van Halen albums in sequence. Romeo Delight plays theaters, casinos, summer indoor and outdoor festivals, and special events. They're also available for private parties. To contact them, call Bud Blanche at 215-704-5144. That's 215-704-5144. Or via email at sonicparade1@yahoo.com. Romeo Delight, the ultimate Van Halen tribute band.
Hi, this is Wild Mick Brown, the drummer for Dokken, and you're listening to Dave and Dave on Unchained.
Check out the new podcast, The Rock Quarry, your place to hear in-depth interviews with some of rock's most colorful characters, with your host, entertainment journalist David J. Criblay. The Rock Quarry is available for free on Spreaker and iTunes. You can check us out on Facebook at The Rock Quarry Podcast, on Twitter at Rock Quarry Pod, on Instagram at The Rock Quarry Podcast, or email us at therockquarrypodcast@gmail.com.
Wolfgang. At age 16, he joined Van Halen as its bass player. His first gig was the band's reunion tour with Roth in 2007.
Dad taught me how to do some power chords when I was 13.
Yeah, just simple, just move your hand around.
And I just he
that's all I ever showed.
Taught me the early stuff, and I just kind of took it in my own direction.
Wolfie was just a toddler when Eddie noticed his son's passion for music.
We were in the kitchen, and a commercial, I feel like chicken today, chicken today. And I saw him boogie to it, and he had rhythm. And I went, yes, God, thank you. He's got rhythm.
All right, Dave, you know what time it is.
Mailbag time again.
Woo! He's doing a little Elvis on there. And it is... It is mailbag time again. And holy shit, we better get a move on, Dave, because we got 15 letters to get through. And
let's go!
All right, and here is a dopey what if that I thought of driving around, says Shannon the Dude. For whatever reason you wake up, time has reversed. Sammy came before Dave. From the time Van Halen fans heard from their debut album Balance, all rockers love this band. Their second album, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, is considered one of the greatest rock albums. Then after their smash fourth album, 5150, and their hit song Dreams, Sammy leaves the band. He's replaced by David Lee Roth, who is not as good of a singer, and the first lyrics we hear from the debut single Jump is a poor man's dreams, including the line, "Hey you, who said that?" Does everyone complain that the band was better with Sammy? I actually vote yes. I concede this is ridiculous. Shannon the Dude. Well, Dave, we are now going into another episode of What If? Now it's time for What If with Dave and Dave. Shit, what if? What if? Dave Marconi's favorite segment, What If? What if, motherfucker?
I don't do what ifs.
Here's the deal. Van Halen in the real world went from hard rock to pop rock. So if Sammy came first, the Van Halen audience in that world would be in shock. I think it would lose its followers pretty quick and develop new ones. The big issue is more with Ed's guitar development, because the progression doesn't work out. Because the breakdown here is that Ed, with the original Van Halen album from 1978, Van Halen 1, really established a new line of guitar, and if that were to come out as the fifth album, that would be a little offsetting, so that kind of throws your whole thing off. Plus, David Lee Roth is more old school than Sammy Hagar, so I think the situation might be a little more like AC/DC. There'd be two parts where they would completely rebuild with a new singer. What do you make of this, Dave?
I definitely think people would be upset because they're used to a certain style. So if Sam was in the band first and he left and then Dave comes in, yeah, there would definitely be people upset because here comes Dave. He can't sing as well. His lyrics are more clever, less straightforward. Ed's wailing on guitar now more and more. what's this? So, yeah, people are used to a certain thing. So there would definitely be more complaining, as much complaining going on.